Hi, I'm Natalia and welcome to my little studio space. Today I'm going to show you how to make a 3D pocket 2-in-1. So this is pretty similar to a different tutorial that I did, except this one is 3D, which means you can just put more stuff in your pockets. So it means you can put like your phone or keys or whatever this way in the pocket, but also you can put your hands this way on the side. So yeah, I really love pockets, they're fun. And yeah, I hope this is helpful. And so first we're going to start off by making the pattern for the pocket bag, and the finished pocket will be 7 inches wide by 8 inches tall. But here what I'm doing is adding an extra 1.5 inches so it can fold over. So the total dimensions will be 7 inches wide by 9.5 inches tall, plus a 1/4 inch seam allowance all around. Next, we're going to do the pocket flap, and since the width of the pocket is 7 inches, we're going to make it a tiny bit wider. So we're going to do 7 1/8 of an inch wide, and I just mark the center and do 3 inches down because the pocket flap will be 3 inches. And then I mark up 1/2 inch just to get this like angle, and then I draw the little triangle shape for the pocket flap and add a 1/4 inch seam allowance all around. The next step that we're going to do is the pocket bag lining, which will be 7 inches wide by 8 inches tall with a 1/4 inch seam allowance all around. Now we're going to do the side piece for the 3D pocket, and it'll be 1.5 inches wide, and in length it'll be 7 inches plus 8 inches plus a 1/4 inch seam allowance all around. And so this part on the side is going to make the pocket 3D. So here's the pocket bag. I'm overlocking it all around. Then for the pocket lining, I overlock 2 sides. And for the pocket side, the 3D part, I'm gonna overlock on the long edges. And don't touch the pocket flap. So now you can see I am going to put the lining on top of the folded pocket bag, and the lining will be folded a 1/4 inch towards you, and sew on the edge. Now that you've sewn that 1/4 inch, you're going to do 2 rows of top stitching. So that's completed. It's going to look like that. So you're going to take the edge piece and just sew a 1/4 inch all around. And when you get to that corner, just clip it a little bit so it'll give you a nice finish, and then just sew a 1/4 inch all around. So now you can see the pocket kind of starting to take shape. What we're going to do is press the seam allowance towards the center of the pocket. I pressed it down, I pressed the seam allowance, and I folded that 3D pocket side. And now we're going to do 2 rows of stitching on the edges. So here I'm just doing the 2 rows of stitching all around the pocket bag. This will keep the seam allowance in place and give it a nice finish. So now that we have that, we are going to do the pocket flap. So you're going to sew a 1/4 inch around. And once you do that, you're going to trim the corners, and you will flip it inside out. So once you flip it inside out, give it a good press with the iron, and then you're going to top stitch 2 rows of stitching, or 1 row, it depends on, preference, all the way around the pocket flap. So now your pocket is really starting to take shape. It's exciting. So you're going to put the pocket on, your jacket or whatever. Here I put it on a piece of scrap fabric. and you're going to sew the edges on, just edge stitch. Pin the pocket on and edge stitch. So what I'm doing here is I'm reinforcing with a little horizontal stitch on the corners. So I'm going to do another reinforcement stitch, and it's going to look like a little rectangle, and this is at the opening of where your hand will be, so it's about 1 inch above from the bottom corner. The next step I'm going to do is sew the pocket bag lining to the fabric, so it's just an edge stitch. So here again, after I did that, I'm doing another rectangular reinforcement stitch. And I do the same to the other top corner as well. Next, for the pocket flap, I position it 1/4 of an inch above the pocket bag, and I sew 1/4 of an inch. Once I do that, I fold it and press it, and then I sew 1/4 of an inch, and I think I did 2 rows of stitching, yeah. And then I do another 1/4 of an inch. So it just gives it a nice look, and when you open it, it's just a nice clean finish. You don't see any raw edges, and then you can put your hand that way and on the side. So this is the final pocket. That's how it looks up close and personal. It's a really useful, really versatile pocket. I definitely recommend it. Hope you use it. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial and this little pocket 2-in-1. Bye.